Good morning, guys and gals. It's another Monday. I got to get on here and give you some motivational talk. I'm going to talk about things I know. That's why I call these things the walk the talk, because I'm not just going to talk about something that's speculative or something that's theoretical. I only talk about things that I've actually put into action. And today I want to talk about one of the most important things I've learned in life. And it's actually what's helped me become a better person over the last 4 years. And before that, slowly but surely. And this is about habits. We are what we repeatedly do. Excellence, therefore, is not an act, but a habit. And there's no truer quote than this, because I've learned this in reality. It is the truth. We are habitual creatures, human beings. You have bad habits or good habits, but we all have habits. And that is what actually controls where we end up in life. It controls who we become. It controls what we earn. It controls everything. And I've learned this mostly through my addiction. Because as I've talked many times on here, I was a drug addict for 24 years straight. I was consistently using drugs intravenously and every other way that I could get them into my body. And the only times I was clean during that 24 years was when I was locked up, when I was in prison, or in jail, or if I just didn't have the money. But there was ways I always would find to get that money, to feed that sickness. And it was a really bad habit. And when you have bad habits that are ingrained in you over years and years like that, your brain actually builds neural pathways to those. Your brain knows it gets the dopamine from the drugs. Your brain knows it gets dopamine from chasing comfort. Your brain knows it gets dopamine from eating unhealthy foods. Your brain gets dopamine from so many things that are not productive. And when that happens, it builds pathways. It's no different than walking through a field on the same path so many times. That path gets beaten down and it gets easier to travel. So then in life, when bad things happen, it automatically triggers your brain for you to get on that pathway, because it knows at the end of that pathway, there's a dopamine hit. But the problem is those habits are not productive. Those habits are counterproductive, and they're holding you back. And this could be anything. This could be not being physically fit. It could be eating, like I said, it could be eating the wrong foods. But you can build better habits. But the problem is it takes time. It takes patience. It takes persistence. Because when you see that field that's all overgrown with weeds and you're trying to take a new path in it, you're going to have to go through the rough terrain. You're going to have to beat that path down little by little, day by day. But it is possible. If you have habits that are old, that you've beaten down for years, that are bad habits, it's more hard to fix those habits. But the one thing you got to remember is that you can't just abstain from it. I learned this when I quit drugs. At first, I just abstained. I thought, I just will say no. I just won't use. But the problem with that, I relapsed many times doing it that way because I didn't fill those paths. I didn't get the dopamine hits. I just thought, abstaining, I can stay clean. It doesn't work. You have to fill those negative habits with positive ones. You have to do things in your life that are going to get you those same dopamine hits, but it has to be something productive. It could be hiking, it could be working out, it could be reading, it could be meditating. There are so many things that people do that are fun. It could just be going out with friends positively, sober friends, meetings. A lot of people do meetings, 12-step meetings, Whatever good habit that you can fill that old bad habit with, that's what you want to do. And if you keep doing it for long enough, it'll build the same pathway that you had to that bad habit. And it's worth the work. I've seen it happen in my own life. The reason why I'm as fit as I am, the reason why I'm as close to God as I am, is because of habits that I've built that have gotten me there. Habits of prayer, habits of study, habits of exercise, habits of just learning, taking things in, putting down the phone, stop chasing comfort. I'm telling you right now, you guys can make your life into whatever you want it to be. There is no limit to what you can become. But the only way to get there is to build those better habits. So think today, brainstorm on what are these bad habits that are keeping you from progressing in life, and fix them. Find things that you're interested in, things that fire you up, and follow those instead. Positive things. You can do it. This is your life. This is your time. You have this one life. What are you doing with it? The time's going to pass either way, so you might as well fill it with those positive habits. It's way too easy to get stuck into a perpetual cycle that's negative in life, because no matter what you're doing, you're in a cycle. Is it a positive cycle or is it a negative cycle? Because if you keep going in that same negative cycle, you're going to keep having the same negative things in your life coming back to you, testing you, trying you, because there's something that they're trying to teach you. And you know what that is? They're trying to teach you that it's a bad habit. They're trying to teach you to change that habit. So you can keep going in that perpetual cycle of negativity and keep dealing with those same issues that you've been dealing with for years, or you can fill that space with something more positive. And I know you can do it. I hope this message hits home for some people. Please share, please like, please comment if this made you feel something, because it needs to get out to more people. This is an important subject. I love you guys, and I hope you have an awesome week this week. I hope I came across right. Peace.